So how important is it for you to get those two guys back in your lineup as soon as possible?
Yeah, I mean we got to get healthy, and the important thing is these guys are healthy, and it's in Texas' case he kind of needed as close to a full spring training as we can get him since he didn't have one, and on the shorter run on Kevin it was more about knocking the rust off. So somebody asked a question earlier about extended spring, and that's chain link baseball. It's not. You get only so much out of that, but being in a faster, higher level with fans in the stands and going through the routine of, getting in at bat and sitting for 3 innings and playing defense until your next at bat, there's something to be said for, getting as close to what that normal routine is with fans and getting pumped up and things of that nature, and so whenever possible, I'm old school about getting these guys up into that type of environment before you take them to New York.
What kind of sense do you have of where they're at versus where they would normally be at this point in the season?
Hard to tell because didn't have much chances in the field today, so it's hard to see off the bats. I mean, the most important thing is they're healthy and they'll have a better opportunity at the big league level because they know the pitchers. There's some unknown and uncertainty about, what they were seeing in extended spring and in the sim games, and even in a game like this, they can be told what they're facing and the velocities and the repertoire these guys are throwing at them. But again, if they've never seen the guy, it's still different, and probably, believe it or not, harder than what they have to deal with up top.
Is the plan to bring them both for Friday?
That's the plan. As long as they're healthy, the plan is to activate them Friday.
Brian, Lyle Overbay has been very productive for you guys. Do you have a plan how you're going to work Mark back in so they can quote-unquote coexist?
Mark is our first baseman, so there's no working Mark in. Mark is going to return right back to where he belongs, and like we've been doing all year, we'll make this up as we go along. So first things first. We're looking forward to getting the A team back and appreciate what the B team has done and the B Bombers. And it takes, as these guys kind of referenced earlier, it takes more than just 25. And there's a lot of players that have really stepped up and have done a great job in their absence. And I look forward to these guys coming back and rejoining the mix to help this whole squad, in that W column and try to get back into first place. But Lyle himself has done a fantastic job. But one step at a time. Let's get these guys back first and foremost, and then we'll figure out our roster moves when we have to.
Kind of the same thing I asked you, Bliss, on that. How pleasantly surprised are you with the way David Adams has filled in for Euclid over this last month or so, considering all he went through this offseason this spring with the release and the re-signing?
Pleasantly surprised in the fact that I'm not surprised because I know what type of player he is when he's healthy. Pleasantly surprised because he just hasn't really been healthy for us to be able to run him out there and see. He never had any spring training with the Major League side. I signed him over to minor league camp eventually. Why he was still hurt because we just couldn't get him off the mark. And then, obviously we needed the roster spot, and so he got released and got healthy during that time frame, and he's come up and done a fantastic job along with a lot of other people. So it's nice to grow our depth and have him kind of return to the fold because he's kind of the prodigal son that's returned because he's been out with the injury for so long, and we're love welcoming him back into the picture here because again he's got great makeup. He's a true baseball player and he's got great ability. It's just physically he hasn't been able to show anything here since that injury down a number of years ago down in the Florida State League.
How well do you think he handled the whole process of being released and then re-signing? Just how hard did he take it, and did you think he was certainly going to come back?
I couldn't say about any certainties because again he's gone through a lot. He's a pro, so every experience I've had with David Adams has been at the highest level of professionalism. He's just pretty straight and narrow. Whatever the circumstances are, he'll work through them and to his benefit. And now that he's still ours, it's to our benefit too.
Brian, you got any updates on Cervelli and Pineda, since they'll likely be here in a few weeks?
I don't have anything on really Cervelli. I mean, he's not a player yet, but in terms of doing some functional stuff, he's just been doing the physical hand therapy with the physical therapist. Pineda, Our plan on Michael, he's been doing really well in extended spring, and yesterday was supposed to be his final outing where he's going to get up to close to 75 pitches, and then we were going to start a rehab clock on him. He was cutting his fingernails apparently, I think, before the game, and I guess he cut one too close, and so he cracked a nail, and he was bleeding on it, and it was I wouldn't say it was affecting his pitching, but he was bleeding. And it was an issue, so they played it smart. Our staff did, Greg Pavlik and Tim Lintek, by pulling the plug on him after 3 innings and 45 pitches.